Demand Science, British Journal.
We've been working and helping out with the Fractured Visions guys, specifically Phil Escott, very talented filmmaker. Another event that Phil has asked us to shoot is the Canaries screening. So the Cardiff Independent Film Festival, that's the Independent Film Festival. Cardiff Independent Film Festival have returned for one night only and teamed up with the Fractured Visions guys, and they've put on a screening of Canaries, which got a lot of buzz following the 2017 Fright Fest and I believe the 2017 Abattoir screening. So a lot of people kind of came away and said that was their favourite film, so excited to be seeing that.
Right, I've not seen it.
No, neither have I, no. But yeah, we're going to film the Q&A for that as well. Again, another low budget, I think significantly low budget this time. We'll no doubt find out what the budget of the film is tonight. But again, Welsh filmmakers shot in Wales, so looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, man.
A lot of stuff happening in Wales, it's really good.
Cardiff, South Wales,
yeah.
booming.
Genre stuff as well, which is great. I mean, when Jim and I first kind of started out making shorts and everything, people weren't really making horror stuff, were they? It was like when we first started making films or whatever, the kind of films that were getting made were very much like council estate, teen mums drown their babies in the canal. And apologies if that describes your film from the early 2000s, but there were a lot of them. Yeah. And it was kind of grim. And, you know, I moved to Wales beginning of the 2000s, and it's a cheerful place, mate. You know,
happy, yeah.
There's a lot of happiness.
Right back those are going.
And so
right.
to celebrate, you know, this amazing community spirit, we made, you know, nasty horror films with people eating each other. So we did that instead. But what's great is a low budget kind of filmmaking community in Wales embracing the genre. Which is cool to see. And I mean, a lot of the people that, you know, we work with are going off and making their own shorts, features of horror stuff as well. I mean, Craig Fisher, who helped out on Little Monster. I've known Craig for years and years. He came to the Curb Crawler screening back in 2014, I think it was. He's making his own horror shorts now as well. And it's a brilliant thing to see. His latest one, Nightmare, definitely worth checking out. We'll drop the show notes there as well.
Boy.
Yeah, beautifully shot as well. So yeah, I mean, it's good to kind of see all of this genre stuff happening in South Wales, especially if you're a genre fan.
Yeah, and I think it can be done. I think that's what people are getting excited about. You know, with technology, we've discussed this before at length about technology enabling you to make films of good quality. And and I think that's what's happening. We're all kind of like, yeah, let's go make films. You can do it. Bit of thought involved, especially tighter the budget, the more creative you got to be. But it's doable.
With Canaries, I think we produced some great wacky upscale shit for wacky, seriously downscale prices. And a lot of that is because some tremendous collaborators read the script, they loved it. They knew me and Craig were making our first feature film, and they said, bless you, we'll give you our time and our talent for nothing or almost nothing. We've got some shots in this from Milk VFX, who won an Oscar for Ex Machina, and they gave it to us for almost nothing. You know, we shot on location in Martha's Vineyard. Anyone here a fan of Jaws? Yeah. The locations at the beginning now, Martha's Vineyard, that's actually Martha's Vineyard where they shot Jaws. So some of those locations will be familiar to you. But the main location star of the film is Lower Cumtoch. Yeah! The amazing Lower Cumtoch. This is a sci-fi-romedy, as we call it. It's, you know, there's some sci-fi, some horror, some comedy, so feel free to be intrigued or to jump with fright or to laugh. We're so grateful that you're here and really hope that you enjoy Canaries.
So how was the reception there and what's the experience been like since?
I think it's been quite good. I mean, what's nice is that it's definitely been a word of mouth film. You know, it's marketing and release has been very similar to the production of the film. You know, we don't have an enormous budget, so it's been great that people have taken to it on Twitter, online. There's been a lot of great word of mouth. Michael Sheen tweeted for us. As did, you know, BAFTA Cymru have been brilliant being in support of the film. Audiences in London, in Abattoir, in Aberystwyth, a BAFTA screening in Swansea, like everyone's really taken to it. You know, there have been laughs, there have been scares, there have been questions afterwards about what happens next to the characters. People really invested in the characters, and that's, you know, that's not just down to me writing it. That's Alan, Craig, and Kerry doing a lovely job as actors.
This is your debut feature film,
That's right.
and you had quite a small budget of just under £30,000. But
29 grand to be precise. So if you think the film was shit, don't worry about it. 29 grand.
But you had a lot of good stuff in it, because you had a really established cast and international filming locations and really great special effects. So how did it all work out with such a small budget?
Well, sort of, as I said in the introduction, it was a question of people loving the script and, you know, sort of saying, okay, this is your first film, we're going to help you out. You know, this is not the kind of process you can repeat. You know, say, oh, you know, you gave us that great deal the first time we made a film, well, we want to come to you a second time. No, this is, you know, the idea is that this is a calling card, and that this is something we really believed in and we wanted to get done, and people were really great about supporting us. In terms of the international locations, a lot of that was, you know, the fortune of geography, in the sense that I married an American, and
Green card.
and I divide my time between America and here for work. My favourite place to shoot is Wales. If we, you know, got funding, we could shoot every single film we ever did together in Wales. We would love to do that, by the way. So, my in-laws live on Martha's Vineyard, so I was able to shoot there because of that. And I have a friend from Swansea who lives and teaches in Vietnam now, Daniel Hewitt. So I literally gave him a VHS camera and told him what I'd love him to shoot, because I couldn't even afford to fly out there. I just sort of directed from afar, and he got some great footage for me.
A lot of the filming took place where you grew up, Craig. How did you manage to turn your hometown into a film set?
When he wrote the film, we tried to find a producer who could turn it around, and people read the script and said it's lovely and stuff, but there's no way you can make this for the money you have on offer. And I go, oh, we can, you know, because we're going to shoot in Cardiff and bit in it where. If you just ask people nicely enough, and not just the people who've come, but you know, the last voice you hear is Richard Ellis, fantastic actor. We've got Carol Parry-Jones' voice, she's over there. We've got our on-set photographer, Aaron Price, he's sat up there. We've got loads of people dotted around. I can't mention everyone because you go mad, but when you know lovely people like we do, talented people, that becomes infectious. And then when you go to, you know, your local pub in Cardiff and you say, yes, I know you're my friends, but we're not messing about here. We've got this fantastic idea and we want to make something happen. Oh man, people are so quick. And that extends to like Gorilla here in Cardiff, you mentioned at the start.
Yeah.
Well, they've done so far something like £5 grand's worth of work on this film. Nothing. Milk VFX, like you said at the start, won the Oscar. Like, you know, everyone has just got behind us, and we are well aware that it's, you know, it is what it is. We just wanted to make a film that we thought people would like. And if you can ignore certain aspects of it,
Like Craig.
no, so we're really proud of it, and I think people have been proud to be a part of it, and that love has rolled on, and which is why the guys at the Cardiff Independent Film Festival and Chapter and, you know, everyone, and you guys are here, so we're so grateful. Thank you very much. I know I'm messing about, and we're so grateful to be here, so thank you very much.
So was there a lot of improvising on set? Did you guys get any input into your characters? Because it sounds quite free and loose.
Yeah, there was a bit of improvisation, but I mean, most of it was in the script already. But naturally, because most of the cast, we all knew each other very well, there wasn't kind of a bedding in process where we needed to kind of get to know each other and find some chemistry. It was just kind of turn up and just get on with it. So naturally, because of the natural banter that friends have with each other, there was a few things that cropped up on the day. But obviously the man here had the final say on whether we were allowed to keep it or not. But yeah, there was a few things in there that was improvised, but on the whole it was this man's work that we were just trying to bring alive, really.
Steve Mayer was the biggest improviser. There's a couple of the biggest laugh lines for the film where I can't take credit for, I'm afraid.
Let's get drunk and make some mistakes. Yeah. That's my favourite line.
That's pretty great. I do not keep track of all the keys. That's it.
But is there going to be another follow-up film? And is that already being planned?
I have written the outline to Canaries to Alien Boogaloo. I mean, again, this is not something, like I said, this is not a process where we would repeat it for the same budget, the same production values. But, you know, if Canaries does well, I love these characters so much, I love what these actors have brought to it, that I would continue doing this by writing a graphic novel in crayon. For those of you who don't know, Pete is an actor first and foremost. He's a fantastic writer, and he's obviously wrote and created this film. And he's like, you all seen Fleabag, the superb comedy, so like he's just given them a script and they love his work. So the plan is that before long, you'll all know who he is and the work that he does.
And, I mean, we're sort of, arguably, we could be the fat Damon and Ben Affleck of Wales, really, and just work together a bunch of times. And we would like to keep making films in Wales and start the Welshploitation movement. So if you get that trending, hashtag Welshploitation, and then we can make genre films in Wales. And one thing we're proud of, we were talking about this outside actually, was that there are a lot of films that are shot in Wales, but there aren't a lot of films where Wales actually gets to play itself. And one thing I'd like to do, you know, in the industry, is to do something where international audiences get used to the Welsh accent, they get used to Welsh town names, and even if they still can't pronounce them. And I think gradually the profile of Wales is growing, you know, and it should be that we should be making films here and not being, you know, embarrassed. We don't actually want to show that it's Wales. You know, it's like, no, let's show that it's Wales, because the feedback we've got from audiences in America is we love the Welsh characters, we're not confused by the accents, we want to spend more time with them, we love these people. And I think that should be embraced more.
I ended up having a chat with a guy from the States last summer, and he said to me, "Where are you from?" I said, "I was born in London, but my mother's Welsh, I grew up in Wales." And he said, "Oh, Hinterland." I was like, "You know that?" He said, "Yes, the hinterland's huge at the moment in the state." And we got talking, and he could name films from Scotland and Northern Ireland and Ireland. He couldn't name anything from Wales. He could name actors like Michael Sheen and Matthew Rhys and Ioan Gruffudd and Ali Pugh, and you know, but he couldn't name any, and that's weird, isn't it? Yeah, he could name all these films, like he just said, that were set in Wales, but Wales was playing something else, and I think that's ridiculous. Because, like, Sherlock is filmed in Cardiff, but it's not Cardiff, it's London. Oh, how is that right? All this, there is money to make stuff here in Wales, and people in Wales give money to people coming into Wales to film stories that maybe aren't Welsh, that aren't even set in Wales, and how does that happen?
We do have other scripts ready to go as well, by the way. There's lots of options out there. We've got some comedy pilots potentially for production companies, possibly BBC. So you know, there are irons in the fire.
He writes a film script a week. I mean, this guy's insane.
Yeah, just before I'm going to open up to the audience for questions, I just wanted to know what everyone's doing currently. What projects are you working on? What scripts have you got?
Mainly, I mean, I'd love to get back to acting. There's a couple of independent films I'm doing as an actor, but there's also mostly screenwriting at the moment, and then with the hope of directing soon. You know, I direct for a company in New York, sort of short scenes, and I would love to work with Craig again on something, come back to Wales and shoot something else, and just keep making things like that, really.
My thing all along has just been to be my own boss, really, and to surround myself with like-minded people who are sick of doing the crap that you got to do when you're an actor, which is fine. But it's about, for me, when I became an actor, it was about doing stuff that I wanted to do, not because I had this burning desire in my soul to, I got to go out and be. No, I just want to do stuff I enjoy. To work with nice people like these guys and lots of the guys in the audience. So that's my dream, really, just to work with nice people on stuff here in Wales.
Yeah, I'll ask the most obvious question you've probably ever been asked at, you know, these sorts of things, but obviously you've shot a low-budget genre film. Who were your inspirations? What were the films that inspired you to make this film?
Tonally, a big inspiration were films like The Lost Boys, Cabin in the Woods, and more recently Attack the Block. That was something where there were some great points made about society, you know, race, class, all the rest of it, but it wasn't bludgeoned over your head like a lot of issue films. You know, it was sort of slid in under the genre. And I think that's what clever genre films can do, is they can entertain you and they can do all that, and they can make a point about, you know, a political point, anything like that. I think a lot more cleverly sometimes and more subversively than obvious sort of Oscar bait films can.
Hello, well done everybody. So what was the actual time period? How long did it take from writing the script, and how long was the shoot and all the other gubbins? How much of a dent did it make in your lives?
Oh, well, that was. I think I sort of had an idea for it. I had a dream about people in yellow rain max against the stark Welsh landscape in like late 2012, 2013, like that. I just scribbled down different ideas for it, what it could be, and then it really took shape, and I wrote it in May 2014. Talked about it with Craig. How can we get this together? And then by Christmas 2000, you know, by September 2014, we were talking to actors. We had sort of 3 drafts of the script, and we were shooting by January 2015. So I suppose that's the advantage of independent, almost no budget film, is you don't have a studio saying, well, we've got to wait till, you know, Brad Pitt's available, or we've got to wait till we've raised however many millions. It was like, nope, right, let's do it.
But yeah, so we shot initially in Cumtorca in January 2015.
Yeah.
For 2.5 weeks. We shut down everything until the April when you picked things up in Martha's Vineyard.
That's right.
And then in between that, we got stuff. The stuff in Vietnam got filmed. And then, so when all the rushes came back in, we put an edit together. And this is where your talent and your mind just blows me away. He did a few test screenings in New York, and they went really well. But he said to me, we need more. There's not enough there. I need something else. He said, we've got to go again. So then 2016, January, we went back to Cumtorca again, and we did another 2 days. So when we first screened the film, people like Richard Mylan and Sheena Bethesda were going, I didn't know Bob Pugh was in that. Because when we went back in 2016, I phoned Bob. I said, Bob, we need you to come in and do this thing. And Kai Owen. So we filmed Bob back in Cumtorca like a year after. So there's like a whole year between me leaving the Hannah Daniel in bed and going to see Bob Pugh in the pub, and then a whole year when Sheena's Skyped in Kai Owen. That's a year between that.
I mean, there's the sort of standard cutaway shots that you get on any film where it's like, let's make something scary, let's put a close-up of a knife going in here, and there are small cutaway shots in there, like the shot of the claws going in the mouth and in the ear and stuff like that, and blood coming out. And that's me in a basement in Connecticut, knifing myself with the claws and spitting blood out of my own mouth, because I'm like, you can't really ask an actor to do that on a zero-budget film. I'm like, you've got to turn the camera on, make sure it's in focus, and then do it to yourself. Just how I pass my time.
I'm wearing the same clothes!
Yeah, we haven't changed.